Josephine was born in Gitarama, a rolling land of red soil and green hills, where cows grazed lazily and banana groves stretched across valleys. Her family was well off, their wealth coming from fertile farms and carefully bred cattle. Her father was a respected businessman who traded coffee and tea, her mother known for her generosity at church gatherings. They had many children, and Josephine, the first daughter, grew up in the shadow of her brothers, but quickly set herself apart. Unlike some of her siblings, she loved school. Her teachers noticed how her eyes lit up when she learned about biology or medicine, how she stayed after class just to ask questions. Josephine dreamed of becoming a doctor, a rare ambition for girls in her community, but one she held close to her heart. At 15, however, her parents began to remind her that dreams had limits. Ichio umokobwa agomba gutekeresa mbere na mbere, her mother told her, ni urugo arwe. What a girl must think of first is her household. To Josephine, this seemed distant and unimportant. She was still at school, still writing her careful notes, still imagining herself one day in a white coat healing the sick. But the whispers grew louder. Her aunts reminded her. Her father grew stern. And then one day the words came not as a suggestion, but as fact. A man had come forward with a dowry. In Rwanda, dowry or inkwano is not only an exchange of cows, sorghum beer, and gifts. It is an agreement between families, a binding of clans, a way to honor ancestry. In the past, cows were the backbone of wealth, the pride of families, and the symbol of blessing. To Josephine's relatives, the arrival of this young man with his offering was not just about her, it was about family honor, about keeping tradition, about proving that their daughter was worthy. Her to-be husband was 25. Josephine was only 16. In the West, this might have seemed a scandal, but in her village, it was not uncommon. Young women were expected to marry early, their value tied less to their dreams and more to their ability to bear children, manage a household, and continue the family lineage. The marriage ceremony was flamboyant, filled with drumming, ululation, and the ritual sharing of banana beer. The elders gave speeches reminding the couple of their duties. A wife must be patient, obedient, resilient. A husband must provide, discipline, lead. Josephine's heart beat fast, not with love, but with expectation. Everyone around her told her this was what she should want, so she began to tell herself the same. That night, after the laughter and the dancing, after the cows had been counted and the families had toasted, she was taken to his home. No one had prepared her for intimacy. All she had been told was to lie still and let him take over. The pain cut through her body, but she swallowed her cries. She remembered the words of a cousin, Umugore Nyamagore Yahangana, a true woman endures. A week later, when she whispered that it hurt too much, he slapped her. Once, twice. The sting was sharp, but sharper still was her confusion. Her cheek burned, but inside her chest it was her heart that felt broken. Was this love? Was this marriage? The elders had promised her marriage would be honor, respect, partnership. But what she met was a hand across her face, and her supposed-to-be life partner standing on top of her, forcing his way through her body. That night, when he fell asleep beside her, she lay awake staring into the darkness. She realized that no one had told her this part of marriage. They had told her to obey, to endure, to be patient. But no one had told her what to do when patience turned into pain. The next morning, barefoot, she fled. The red earth of Gitarama cut into her feet as she walked for miles. Her blisters opened, her face bruised, her body aching. Still, she pushed forward, step after step, because she believed in one thing: her parents would take her back. She was their daughter before she was anyone's wife. Surely her mother would see her swollen face and gather her into her arms. Surely her father would hear her sobs and protect her. When she reached their compound, dust covering her body, she dropped to her knees at the gate. She begged. Her voice broke as she told them what had happened. She lifted her head and searched her mother's eyes for understanding, for softness. But her mother's eyes did not soften. She turned away. Her father did not open the gate. Instead, their voices were firm. The dowry had been paid. He had brought cows, food, gifts. She no longer belonged to them. She was his wife now, his responsibility. Josephine's mouth went dry. She could not understand it, how cows could weigh more than her tears, how tradition could be heavier than her bruises. That was the day Josephine learned about silence. The silence of her mother's eyes which looked past her. The silence of her father who closed the gate. The silence of a culture that told women to endure. For the sake of family, for the sake of cows, for the sake of appearances. So she stayed at the gate for days, hoping someone would change their mind. But no one came. The neighbors avoided her. The aunties whispered but did not intervene. And eventually, with no choice left, Josephine turned back. When she arrived at her husband's home, he beat her for leaving. That night he assaulted her again. And in the days and years to come, every child she bore was born of silence, of endurance, of a duty forced upon her. In Rwanda, cows were wealth, a woman was wealth, a wife was a duty. And so Josephine, like so many others, came to believe that this was simply how life was. A man strikes, a woman endures. The cycle continues. Her dream of becoming a doctor faded behind the heavy curtains of her reality. But sometimes late at night, she still imagined that other life, the one where she was in a hospital in a white coat, her hands healing instead of hiding bruises. And she wondered quietly what it would take for silence to break.